Welcome to In Progress, a podcast to help you grow and learn how to become a better version of yourself. Now, here's your host, Michael Cirigliano.
Welcome, everybody, to In Progress podcast with Michael Cirigliano. We got special guest today, Joe Delgado. What was your life like? What was your social life like? What were you doing prior to this that was, I guess, that falls in with like a regular person's lifestyle?
Yeah, so I guess I didn't really have. I'll 100% say that I didn't have a terrible life, like whatever. I mean, things happened in my life as I grew up and all that type of stuff. And I'm not saying I'm better than anyone. I'm not saying that, I know that we all react and handle adversity or situations completely different. I totally get that. But, I just dealt with death a lot when I was younger. I grew up with no parents, and my mom died when I was like 10, 4 days before my 11th birthday. She literally, like, she had lined up for people to take like over me and my brothers, and they're all like, no, that ain't about my life, fam. But luckily my dad came back, even though that she was like, don't go with your dad, whatever. And he came back, he took over the household. And like a couple of weeks, he was like, yeah, this ain't about me either. And he hit the road, and he left me in a house with two older brothers that we didn't really have the best of time. We didn't get along, like, at all, like, ever. Right. And I was a mom's boy when I was growing up. And so my mom would always protect me when my brother beat the shit out of me, verbally and physically. Yeah. And so now I'm in this house, right? And I'm like, I'm gonna get fucking murdered. But I didn't have anyone. All I had had two older brothers that I could view and take any advice or whatever, which they weren't really handing out to me. They were, they didn't give a fuck about me or whatever.
Right. Figure it out on your own.
Yeah. So as I grew up, word spread out. I was like 14. Hey, this house has no parental supervision. So I mean, parties.
Wait, how old were your brothers?
They're a couple years older than me, like 2 to 3 years older than me.
So you were in a house by yourself with like less than 18-year-old, like.
Yeah, my dad came back a few times, like here and there. And when he wasn't living with us, sometimes he came back, to drop off food and whatnot. But ideally, once I hit like right around like 14, that kind of really stopped. And I got a job with one of my brothers. It was at a restaurant. And then I had to start paying the bills because no one else was doing it. So I was paying like RG&E or gas and electric and all that type of stuff. Water, like just like a normal adult. I was a kid. I was a sophomore, freshman in high school, and I was working 4 days a week. And then on top of that, there was my older brother, his friends, they had connections to get alcohol. So beer pong entered my life.
Yep.
And that was the norm in my, like, when I was a kid. And that's how I didn't know. I had no idea about anything. I took an accounting class, I think my senior year in high school, and I had a checking and savings account. And the teacher was like impressed. I was 16 at the time. And she was like, you have no idea like how significant that is. And 10 years after that, I found out like what's actually going on in the world. At the time, I was like, yeah, it's no big deal. You just walk in there and you ask them to take your money. That's it. But like, I just didn't know anything about the world. I mean, I didn't have internet until I was in my 20s. So like, I just didn't know anything. All I knew was I got up. I didn't have anyone to get me up, but for whatever reason, I was compelled to get to school on time. I went to school. I got good grades. I got to work somehow. I begged, I pleaded people to take me to work. And I got home and I would hear distant beer pong cups I would shower real quick, and then I was like a frat house in my high school, and then that kind of continued. And then when I turned one, it was just the bar scene. So eventually, I left that job and I went to corporate America, where I would eventually find and meet you. So I started in the wireless world and retail, and that was right after my dad died. And he didn't die of natural causes. He was actually hit by a car, um, because he was actually doing the right thing. He was wasted walking from his friend's house to his house, and he just walked in front of a car, trying to walk around a snow bank. But yeah, whatever. So I lived that life. I was literally listening to everyone around me, guiding me because I had no idea. So I started this job and it was a lofty pay for me. I was making money that I never thought was possible. When I was a kid, I was angry at the world. I was seeing all this stuff happen to my mom and everything. I was like, man, if I can just make $1,000 a week, I'll be set. I'll be able to take care of anything.
Yeah.
I was just like $1,000 a week, and I got this job, and I was doing that, and I had a 401k. People were telling me how to do this, that. People were also telling me how to get a house, and I eventually did buy a house. So I was living this life that was just average, right? And I was getting promoted, which was really great. It was fucking great.
Yeah.
I was on top of the world. I was like, man, like I was at 25. I was a tool bag, and I owned a 370Z, my dream car.
Did. Yes, you did.
Yeah. So I had my dream car. I owned a house. I was making more than the average household income, and that usually is two incomes, and it was just me. Especially with all this adversity and blah blah blah, right?
Right.
So, but I was very unhealthy. I mean, if you look, I just looked at a picture with me at that time. It was bad. This is just unhealthy just overall,
Right.
and just in general, like, so I actually had fear. Man, I still do, and maybe that's what's actually propelled me to do stuff. So like when my mom died, like literally, and those three people were like, yeah, we don't want you, pretty much.
Yeah.
I was I was like, I'm gonna be homeless. Like I was like, I only, like, I'm 10 years old, like at the time, or 11. Who like I was like, where am I gonna live? Like, what am I gonna do? I was like, I'll go to work right now. Like I'll do whatever. Like I gotta do something.
Right.
Like I was literally just absolutely terrified. And then I had an older brother that was telling me pretty much daily on how I will be homeless and I'll probably die because I'm so dumb and all this other type of stuff.
Yeah.
So I was dealing with that like constantly. And so, no matter what, if you're told something all the time,
Especially younger,
like,
too.
Exactly. Your mind is developing. You're seeing all these things that you should never see and all that type of stuff. So I just was literally terrified that I was going to be homeless. I wouldn't be able to make ends meet and all that type of stuff. It actually like almost happened when I went to college. Like literally, a good thing I worked at a restaurant because I was eating for free because I literally didn't have money to make things happen.
Right.
So I got promoted for the first time. Like, it took me forever to get promoted. I became an assistant manager, and my area manager came to the store after I got back from vacation. He's like, in 2 days, you're going to the store, one of the top performing stores in the market or whatever for sales. And I was petrified. I was just absolutely, I was like, I'm gonna get fired in a week. I mean, I was literally, I could not sleep. I was texting everyone and calling people that worked at that store. I was like, what's your like what's your feedback? Like what can you tell me?
Right.
Because I had the perception that they were a little maybe unethical on the gray area.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going to be comfortable with that. I've been priding myself on a lot of I know gray area or whatever, there's gray area and everything, but
Right.
there's definitely I was like, I'm definitely not going to be comfortable on a lot of things if they're operating that way. That's A. And B, they are high performing, and I'm coming from a slow store. I was like, they're gonna walk all over me. Like they're gonna be more skilled than me. They're not gonna listen. Like they're just gonna chew me up. Like
is it the mentality that you had ingrained in you as a child that was just like kind of showing face now?
No, I kind of always had that. It just came in different levels.
Right.
And this time was a really high level.
Yeah.
I was just literally freaking bugging. I was going out of my mind. And I was like, I got this great job, this career, that I'm on path for and all that type of stuff, making more money than I ever thought possible. I was like, you know what? And I like walking. I'm a huge advocate, regardless of how healthy you are and, your workout regimen. I will always recommend walking. It's a good stress release. So I walked that night and I was like, you know what? This music is getting bland. I'm gonna overcome my fear. The reason why I have this fear is because I think that they're going to be able to have more skill than me.
Right.
So I'm gonna teach myself skill. So that's not gonna be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like boom, there you go. So I'm gonna stop listening to this trash music that's not getting me anywhere. I don't know why I haven't been doing this. I'm gonna start listening to books. Because I can multitask and instead of like reading and all that type of stuff. Should have been doing this all the time.
Yeah.
Silly me. So I Googled best sales book. The top one that popped up, I bought Audible. I bought the book. I downloaded it, started listening to it, and I couldn't put it down.
Now,
the book was
real quick. Oh, I think you're actually going to get. So I actually wanted to ask you, who are your top 3 influencers that have made an impact on your life? And I feel like this is a good segue into that. I want you to continue the story, but who are those 3 people? And I know you're about to get into the one right now.
Yeah, I think I only have one, to be honest, and that's Grant Cardone. So the book was 10x Rule, and yeah, I mean, I didn't even like remember him saying that he was the author of the book. Like, I remember just listening to this, and I was like, dude, this energy. I hope he's narrating all the books. I hope he's just the audible narrator, because I can't put this book down. Like these words are like shooting into my head, and they are all making sense. And I can hear. It's like I was talking to another me. Like the energy was just like infectious. I couldn't take it. And then I looked down, I'm like, author, narrator, Grant Cardone, and I was like, dude, this guy's worth like $500 million, or $500 million, excuse me. At the time that I started reading this book, and he told me his story. Dad died when he was 10. That kind of sounds familiar. He went into drugs. I never went into drugs, but I partied with alcohol. That kind of sounds familiar. And I was 25 at the time, and he said that he turned his life around starting at 25. I was 26 maybe, around there. I was like, oh.
Wow.
And then, yeah, he was just like, yeah, hard work, pretty much. Like, and when he was talking, I was like, man, this guy doesn't sound like he has like crazy amount of skills, talents, or it just sounds like you and I. And like, I remember I was walking on Dewey Ave. I was doing my circle right back to my house, and I just remember there's a lot of specific things that I can talk about in a minute or whatever that he was saying, but just instantly, like within a second, I had all these thoughts I just backtracked all my life, like everything I was going through, like everything I was doing up to that point. I said, man, I don't know anything about any of this. I've just been being told that I need to be doing this, like buying a house, 401k, all this type of stuff.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, just a pit, like something just came like out of me that I had when I was a child, because when I was younger and I was going to hospitals all the time and watching death and just misery, and getting belittled daily from a bully everywhere. I was pissed. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna, like, in my mind, I was like, I'm gonna be big one day. I was like, I'm going to be fucking huge, and I'm going to rub it in everyone's face. Like, no one's going to be able to tell me anything. I'm going to
on your shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, I was just pissed at the time, and I was sick of getting kicked in the teeth every single day. No matter what, like, from what was going on with my mom, like anyone, like I was getting hit, just because I looked dumb. That was what I was being told. I look stupid, so I must get punched. Like that's literally, I mean, how I was like as a child, like as I was growing up. And I just remember I was like, man, I'm gonna be big. I'm gonna be someone. I'm gonna be something. Like no one's gonna be able to tell me anything or whatever. But that, as I was growing up, that just got suppressed. That got deleted. That was like, dude, it's gone. Because as I was starting to grow up, and the people around me loved, they loved me. They loved, drunk Joe. They loved, hanging out Joe and all this type of stuff.
Right.
And all they wanted was that.
Right.
All they want is to perpetuate that life. And just for whatever reason, it was like just that. I just remember it still like yesterday. Again, on Dewey, I was walking back. I was on my first cycle of loop around, like, to my house. And I was like, why the fuck did I ever give up on myself? So why did I ever take that away, delete that, eliminate that? And this dude, similar background, is worth almost $1 billion. I mean, he's worth like a couple of billion now, or whatever. So he definitely has done well in the last 7 years,
right?
Let alone 30. I'm like, I can do that. Like, why can't I do it? Why isn't there any reason why I can't do that other than what people have been telling me my whole entire life, right? All this type of stuff. So I mean, my influencers, I mean, after that, I finished that book very quickly. And I started to try to listen to a bunch of people. I tried to diversify my education and influencers. I mean, all they really did was solidify a same message, being positive in certain aspects, like Robert Kiyosaki. I started listening to Gary Vee with you. You introduced me to him. But I mean, Grant's been the driving force in a lot. I mean, Dr. Berg 100% would be the influence on any health and nutrition. But the one thing that, was a keen thing for me was education. So I started with Grant, I kind of didn't really deviate any of away from that. I know all the people and stuff like that, and I'll educate myself from other people.
Right.
But I mean, obviously Grant wants people to be all into him, and he even says it. Yeah. He even says, you got to find one person, like a mentor, right? And you can't listen to, and that's what happened in the very beginning when I started educating myself. I was diversifying too much. Yeah. So I immediately understood when he brought that up. I was like, I'm trying to go on like so many different paths.
Yeah, they're all preaching something different.
Right. They all have their own niche, which is great. Yeah. And we all should, right? And but yeah, my like that moment on, I mean, I listened to all of his books after that. Still, I listened to him like multiple times.
Yeah.
I don't constantly like I mean, I follow him whatnot, and I get his emails, like all that type of stuff. And I see what he's doing in life, but I'm not constantly like watching everything he's doing. Sometimes I'll go through spurts, but because he's saying the same things, right?
Yeah, you've heard it all at this point. He's just reiterating what he's been saying for the past like 5-10 years.
Right. And that's how easy it is. I mean, that's how
really
simple it is.
Yeah.
It's not, I want to say it's easy. That's how the simple idea is. Just every day, there's, every day, right? So, I mean, the things that he was saying in the very beginning of the book, because the 10X rule, it's not even a sales book. So I don't know what Google was thinking when they popped that. It must have been just his ad money that he, it worked out well for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Because 10X rule is like, it's about a multiplier, right? It's
the mindset.
about big. Yeah. It's about thinking big, because thinking big takes the same amount of energy as thinking small. So why not think big? And so he was saying that. So the one thing that instantly caught on to me was, so if you're listening to people that haven't accomplished the things that you want in life, why are you listening to them? And he's like, we're getting a bunch of data from people all around us that they don't even know where that data is from, right? Back to when I was getting a haircut, and I asked her where, like, that was literally, that's been embedded into me. I am from that day on, I am extremely conscious of what information I'm taking in, because I know how much of a huge impact it has. Because for the first 25 years, I mean, I was a kid, even going through all this bullshit. But I even had these large, big thinking, like monstrous, like want to take over the world, want to be something, right?
Right.
And what happened is the world happened, right? And it took that, it sucked. Literally, it was a vacuum, and it sucked all that out, and it plopped me to be sheep. It made me literally uniform with everyone around me. And back to the whole social thing, it's a good rule of thumb. If you want to do anything in life and change anything, improve or whatever, just do the exact opposite that everyone else is doing. If you get into a room and there's 100 people, and you say one thing, and the rest of them are saying the other, like something completely different, good thing, it's a good possibility that you're onto something. And I test this all the time in my life. I test it all the time, especially when it comes to health. If someone freaks out to what I do in my life, I'm like, I'm onto something. I'm like, that's a good sign. Yes. it's a good freaking sign, because if people are not wanting to do that and resisting it because it's weird, or it's abnormal, it's whatever, they're not familiar with it, and that's usually my indication. But that's that. And then I used to have to go to a meeting. It was a 6 hours, an all-day meeting on Tuesdays. I was hell. It was stared at a wall, and literally looked at numbers, and just pretty much felt like a big piece of shit, because you were never doing enough. Corporate America for you. And I literally went in there. I mean, Grant's really big on also, the middle class is a failing formula. Average is a failing formula.
Yeah.
So I went in there, I sat down with all my peers, and I was just hearing all of these these statements, like balance, be grateful for what we have now.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, this is such a toxic. Instantly, like it felt like it was instantly my mind, like I saw the light. Like, I instantly was seeing things that were changing my perception, right? I'm like, man, I'm 25, 26, or whatever. I was 27 at the time. And I'm actually surpassed all the things that I thought was possible for myself. Right. So I was just like, do I have to live the next 60 years of my life like this? That's fucking lame.
The small mentality. And that's the thing too, that you got to realize is all these people that are bigger, Grant, all that, they don't have that mentality. So when you're listening to these people saying, oh, you want to be like me one day, you want to be higher up in the company, do what I do, stay here for another 10 years. It's like, but I don't want that at all.
Yeah.
Like, you're not happy. You're miserable. You're trying to get to the next step. Every time you're in the next step, you're trying to get to the next step. If you follow Grant's method, any of these people, all these entrepreneurs and real estate moguls and people who are wealthy, not rich, wealthy, they completely pulled themselves from that mindset in order to become successful. And then you're listening to your boss saying, "Oh no, you gotta just relax, work-life balance," which is a good thing, I guess, in some senses, but like, keep working, keep doing this. Eventually it'll pay off. It's like, yeah, for you, not for me.
Yeah.
I'm working for you. I'm not working for me.
Yeah, dude. I'm so glad that you brought that up too, because again, with the memes, I saw a meme. It was a billboard, and it was like, if your boss messages you on your day off, don't answer it. And there's some comments like, my life is my life. They better not message me or call me like on my days off. And one even said like, yeah, if my boss messages me on my day off, he gets a dick pic. I was like, oh, that's kind of funny, I guess. But I immediately, and again, this is a problem with me because I take things like seriously, and it's a mantra. Like I have like a code of ethics, like to me. So I immediately look at that, and it's about the mindset. I look at that, I'm like, man, that's absolutely crazy that that's something that we're trying to promote. Your day off is your day off, sacred. The funny thing is, my first December working in this job, I had one day off the whole entire month outside of Christmas. So 2 days off. 2 days off, 31 days. So 29 days I worked. And it was like that all the time. I was good old Mr. Old Reliable. And
Yeah.
it was that fear, right? Because I was just like, I got to become an asset somehow, right? I was in sales. I just like, I'll get paid more hourly. I'll also get paid, sales hopefully or whatever. I'll get better at it, blah, blah, blah. But I would like, hey, Joe, someone called off. I need you to do this. Can you work at this store? Can you do this event? Can you do that? Can you do this? Boom, 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 boom. Right. And when I was a manager, I was talking about income levels. I remember I was talking to a rep, and I was talking about income levels. And I was like, yeah, I made like $60,000 as a rep, as a seller.
Yeah.
And this rep looked at me and was like, yeah, I never made anything close to that. I never made anything over 50. Like it was low 40. It's been low 40s all the time. And I've been with the company for longer than you. I say, and I'm just like thinking back, I'm like, I always called in. Like I always went in when I called in. You're always calling in. Fast forward when I had a big title, a director.
Yeah.
Multiple six figures, right? Or whatever. And I'm doing store visits. And I walk in, I talk to, employees. I'm like, hey, what are you striving for? What's your goals? What's your ambitions? Like, what can I help you with? I want to be you. I want your job. Like, oh, that's fine.
I don't even want my job.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, jokingly, yeah, take mine, please. But just like what you said, two different mindsets, right? Because again, we're spewing out now. In order to get paid more, your employer must pay you, like just increase your paycheck, which in some cases that probably should happen for sure.
Yeah.
But what I fucking did, I worked more. I went home and kept on working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a lot of anxiety. I'm an extremely huge introvert. So sales is not like my cup of tea.
Yeah.
And being personable is not like a thing for me. Like I just can't do it. So me talking and reciting conversations, I mean, there is a ton of work that people just never saw me do. Me talking to myself, that's me role playing, like practicing, like
what you're gonna say.
Demonstrating. Right. When I was a district manager, we had to demonstrate a product. The first time I did it flawlessly, and I did it probably over 1,000 times before.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have employees that could practice on customers. I never saw customers.
Right.
They could practice on customers, and they never did. So it's just funny. The only reason why I'm bringing that up is because people want it, but they don't make the sacrifices, or they don't actually work as hard as they need to. I mean, we're always going to be underpaid unless you do things in a certain way. And if they all work out right, you'll be massively overpaid, right? And that's the criticism on CEOs, entrepreneurs, rich people, and all that type of stuff. You know, they make too much money. They should be paying more than blah, blah, blah. They should be giving more free stuff to us. But the thing is, everyone can get there. And we have this brainwashing, because again, people need to justify why not, because it's difficult, right? It's a simple concept, but it's difficult. I mean, I haven't gotten there yet, unfortunately, so I can't even say that. I can't say that, but I know that I am going to be there. And I'm going to be like, all right, I lived my life in a certain way.
Yeah.
And am I going to regret, not going out into the bar and drinking? Am I going to regret not eating fucking shitty desserts because, oh my God, it tastes so good and all this other stuff? No, I'm going to eat the same meal probably every single day, or not eat. I'm going to fast. I'm going to practice this stuff. I'm going to work. I'm going to put in all these extra hours. I'm going to work for free, because I know it's eventually going to pay off, and it has drastically in my life already. And it's just funny that you even brought that up, because I remember thinking all the time, like, I want your job. I'm like, yeah, but you call off. You don't come. Yeah, I mean, we can't call you in if it's your day off. You don't even answer, all this type of stuff, or you're rude.
It's an entitled mentality.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
People overvalue their own time that they give it. They think that what they do, they should be getting paid top dollar for all the time, and then they're not willing to actually put in the work. It's, I'm here, I should be getting paid more for just existing, but not, oh, I should be putting in the work. Like, I mean, I worked for you, and I was somewhat kind of like that. I mean, I'm sure you remember that. I was all the time, I need to get promoted. I need to get promoted. I need to get promoted. I started with the company. I need to get promoted right now. I'm the best one. I need to get promoted the whole time. I just needed to put in the work, and I didn't. I showed you that I was good for like 2 weeks, and I was like, where's my promotion? So I'm nothing different than that. But over time, I mean, with this, obviously, I'd love to get monetized off of this. My other things that I do on the side for business, I'd love to make money off of that. But you have to put in the hard work and the effort for minimal pay, if not zero, to get to a point where your value is recognized, and then you get paid. And people don't recognize that, because they want the money right now.
Right. It's shortcuts. It's Band-Aid. It's like, it's all of that, right? Cookie core. Like, yeah. How quickly can I mean, I'm impatient as well. But it's just nuts. I was going to say something, I forgot. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it is entitledness. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, people want to get paid top dollar, and they don't even do their job properly.
No.
I mean, I was thinking about when like COVID hit, and everyone was complaining and saying that everyone should literally, like, every higher up should cut their pay in half, and every frontline person should be sent home, right, for 2 weeks. That was the whole thing, like the curb. Like whatever it was. And I was like, man, you wanted to get paid to sit on your ass at home for your protection, when you can't even do a simple task on telling someone your name, or using someone's name, or asking them where they work. Like, you can't even do simple tasks like that, and you want a pay raise. And that is like literally embedded in your job description.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. I'm like, you are criticizing someone that is definitely making way more money than you, but they're making decisions that are, in fact, affecting 7,000 employees, 7,000 families.
Yeah.
And they worked 40 years to get there, and they're doing crazy other things, and you don't even understand the simple task of opening a door up for someone, walking them to a door, being happy and positive, right? They're not even happy and positive, they're miserable, right?
Right,
And
exactly.
someone's going to hear that and be like, yeah, because they're not getting paid enough. You don't need to get paid to be happy, right? You can be cheery. I remember when we were selling, I was called Chuck E. Cheese, a Chuck E. Cheese attitude. And I stand behind that. Like, I mean, literally, you don't need, I mean, you see it all the time, like 10 things that take no skill or money or whatever, be positive, be on time, blah, blah, blah. Like 100%. We have people that are not even happy. I flew back to New York and I was in the airport. I went to Dunkin' Donuts to get a coffee. And I instantly was like, I do not miss New York. I was like, may I please have a medium coffee with almond milk? And I just got a direct stare. What did you say? But now, like, I'm sorry, can you repeat that? Or I didn't hear you, I misunderstood you, or whatever. Or would you be able to just repeat that? What do you say? I mean, it was like I felt like an idiot. Did I say something wrong? No, I did not.
What did I say to you?
Yeah, I just asked for a coffee, and I did it polite. And I know that you're not getting polite. People are probably saying, "Can I get this?" or "Let me get this." Right? I said, "May I please?" Like, and I'm getting the attitude. But that's what I'm trying to say is like those people, or the people in general, will be miserable about that job, and I hate it. Don't even work it effectively, and don't think about the they can, I coached a lot of people in my time, and they're just like, I just hate this, I hate this, I hate this. But I was like, you know what, you can be really good at this, and you can learn skills or talents that can prepare you for the job that you actually really like. But you're missing out on the opportunity right now because all you're focusing on is how much you hate this retail or this sales mentality. So you're missing out on growing and expanding in this sector, this vehicle that you're in, that can actually prepare you for something that you're gonna love, and you're gonna miss out on that opportunity because you're spending this whole entire time sulking, being miserable, and looking at all the negative.
People don't see the bigger picture.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then people are just, I mean, again, they're like, I'm gonna rob time from the company. I'm gonna do all this type of stuff, and it is what it is. I mean, we're in a weird time, especially in the last couple of years. But it's all it's a failing formula. I mean, I've seen it all around me. I've seen people abuse time. I've seen people that just, hey, my time is my time, and all this type of stuff. And I've definitely became more elevated than them, and in a lot faster rate too. And I'm like, yeah, I sacrificed my time. Unfortunately, I sacrificed not just doing dumb shit, right?
Yeah.
Not going out, sitting around bullshitting, having conversations that are meaningless, all this shit.
But it's worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the way I look at it is that, if you're going to live, let's say you and I, 10 years from now, right? We're both going to get through it, right? Unless something catastrophic happens, whatever. We're going to get through the next 10 years. Why don't we try to maximize and optimize those 10 years? Just think about the last 10 years. Well, so I was 23, right?
Right.
If I could go back in time and tell myself when I was 23 all the things I know now and what I should be doing, I'll be way further. I'll be doing way much more, right? And that's the same concept when you think ahead. Like, so you have a decision that you have to make. What do you want to do today? Are you going to just sulk or be comfortable, watch the bullshit on TV, scroll through social media and all that type of stuff, immobilize yourself? Don't work out yourself, don't work out your mind, all that type of stuff. Because in the next 10 years, you're gonna most likely be kind of in the same situation.
Exactly.
And is that really fun? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. To me, it's boring. Like, I just look at it now, like looking back, even like drinking with friends and whatnot. I'm like, it's the same shit, same conversations, same places, same drinks, same feelings. Like you wake up the next day, you have the same foods. Like it's the same scene all the time.
And it's
And
deteriorating you.
yeah, I mean, it has, I was getting, health wise, like it was killing me.
Yeah.
I could feel it. And I don't know, like now I'm operating this way. I'm just like, I just don't, I need other people to understand, like, because there's no, I'll tell everyone first that I have no skills, I have no talent, nothing. Me being able to formulate sentences like this, barely, compared to me 10 years ago, absolutely absurd. I'm not, different internally or different, like, as an actual person, but the skills and talents I have now is 100%. I taught them to myself, like everything. Like
Yeah.
I learned, I had nothing. I had no knowledge about life and all that type of stuff. I fell flat on my face every single day, and I had to teach myself like all of the shit. And uh, but with that being said, is all it takes is just a different perspective and how you view things, right? Um, I'm a firm believer that there's only one of two different ways to look at anything. It's obstacles or opportunities. You're either looking at obstacles all the time or you're looking at opportunities, that I can't, or these are the reasons why I can't do this. It makes no sense because it's the same, because all you got to do is, for an example, something really dumb. You can get in a car accident, you get T-boned, and that person was on their phone, right? It was 100% their fault. They ran the red light, they're on their phone, they T-boned you. You can get out of that car, instantly be upset and be like, it was your fault. Now I have to deal with this. I'm pissed off. I'm late to work, blah, blah, blah. Or I'm late to whatever. I have to deal with this. I have to get another car. I have to get this fixed. This is the pay deductible. I can't afford that, blah, blah, blah. Or you can just think, hey, I'm alive. That's great, right?
Exactly.
Is that other person alive? They are. Sweet. What other stuff? Hey, could I have been paying more attention, hypothetically, at the cars in traffic, and maybe I could have actually seen that person on their phone and not paying attention and not slowing down, and I didn't have to go into the intersection, which I have done that before. Like I've seen someone not slow down and blow a red light, and that could have been me, right?
Exactly.
But no matter how much someone is wrong, why does it matter that you have to be right? Why does it have to be implied that someone has to be right or wrong? If I hold up a piece of paper and it's blue and I'm telling you it's yellow and you say it's gray, who is right or who's wrong? And bigger question, what does it matter? Like
Exactly.
what gets you, like, you proving that you're right? Where is that going to take you? How is that going to get you any further? Right. It's just going to make you miserable. It's going to make you just play this victim card. Oh, this is happening to me. This is another thing I have to go through, blah, blah, blah. Even in death, the worst thing that possibly can happen, or is that going to take over your life? Is it going to literally control you? Is that going to make you prevent you from doing things and living your life? At the end of the day, like if your heart is beating, you're breathing oxygen, you can grow, you can expand, you can do whatever. You still have life. You still have the ability to thrive and move forward and do all this stuff. So what's the point? Everyone is so caught up on hell bent on being right, and it forces them to be miserable constantly. It just constantly perpetuates them being entitled, being being this advice giver, being this expert, And everyone just needs to take a step back and be like, maybe, maybe I don't know everything. Maybe, and the thing is, you're constantly doing this thing called, engaging in self-discovery. You're self-analyzing. You're constantly like, how can I do things better? Well, how can I be more efficient? And you're being like, how can I be more productive? And all this type of stuff. But again, you're not going to allow other people to dictate, your thoughts and your feelings and your day and how all that shit's going, right? There's it's a anger management tactic. Give everyone excuses. So if, let's say, you're having a heart attack and I'm driving you to the hospital, I'm probably cutting people off,
Right.
pissing people off, right? If I had the ability to go back and apologize and explain the situation to all those drivers, they most likely won't be angry with us anymore. Like, oh yeah, you had to do that, right? So why can't you just automatically do that? You give people excuses, because if you were in that situation, you would give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't know how many times that, being in retail, especially, someone comes in, they're pissed off, they're asking for the manager. I'm Chuck E. Cheese plucky, I'm handling the situation. I'm just being courteous and polite and positive. They simmer down and they're like, I'm really sorry. I just lost a loved one.
All the time.
I just got diagnosed with cancer. I just lost my job, and like, I really can't afford my bills. And the 25-cent increase into my bill, like, it just sent me off, because I don't know how I'm gonna make things. So you have no idea. Like, there's literally 7.7 billion people in this world, and they're all experiencing and perceiving things completely different. We have no idea what they're going through. So why not give people the benefit of the doubt? Because you would want the same thing, right? And there's actually, I don't know, have you ever heard of stoicism or stoic?
I've heard of it. I don't know too much on it. I've definitely heard of it, though. I have a few friends that are very into spirituality, and that's a big thing.
Yeah. So this is a philosophy from ancient Greece. And to put it really simple terms, it's living without complaint. So the first, idea of stoicism, or being a stoic, is that you as a person do not get upset at what actually is happening. So you get upset at your judgments or your perception of whatever just happened. So if someone says something racist, let's say, whether it's directed to you or about someone else, and you just don't like that, if you get upset, it's not about what that person actually said, it's about your belief.
Right.
You're getting upset on the belief. So with that being said, if you can hopefully believe that, anyone can hopefully believe that, that means you have the actually ability to dictate your reaction to anything, because you are actually reacting to your own judgment. I'm not saying that you don't have firm beliefs, you're not passionate about anything or anything like that. But if you have the ability to literally be like, I don't like that, or I'm not going to let that affect me, right? Two different things. I don't like the racist comment that person just said, or sexist or homophobic, fatphobic, whatever it was. You don't like that. You're passionate about it, but you have the ability to change and alter your feeling against the perception. And I mean, I think I'm a good believer on that, because that makes 100% sense. Because I mean, again, I lived two different ways. I feel like everyone else, I lived the obstacle mindset. I lived, I'm never going to be married or anything like that. I'm not married currently, so maybe that's true. But I literally, I couldn't talk to anyone, right? I couldn't get promoted. Like, I was never going to have a career. I was never going to do like any of this stuff, right? I had all these obstacles, and it was mostly mental. But I still today have that, right? Fear of talking in public. I'm gonna get nervous or whatever, and it's just obstacles, right? It's just silly obstacles that are coming into your subconscious mind to protect you. And then again, your Uncle G, helped me believe that, just if you are just continuously positive, right? If you're just happy and you wanna you just be happy and be a positive person, uh, you look for opportunities no matter what, right? And that's actually the sheer nature of how any entrepreneurship works.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is we have billions of problems on this planet, excuse me, and you just have to pick one of them, opportunity, and fix it. You got that's literally what it is, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then you monetize it, or you create a charity, nonprofit, whatever it may be, right? And so it doesn't even have to be monetization. It could be literally nonprofit. I mean, there's people that want to like literally, adopt all the dogs, right? So they adopt 2 dogs, and that's it. Like they're good, and they could probably almost barely afford that, right?
Right.
Because
Exactly.
they're not accumulating enough money or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably millions of dogs that need to be adopted, and so they're super passionate about something. They'll tell you money's not everything because
Mm-hmm.
they're being told that.
Right.
They're going to be told that they have to have a work-life balance. My life is not work, right? They won't go in on their day off, but
Right.
they're super passionate about a thing and they want it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So they adopt 2 dogs every 10 years or so, and they think they're doing their part. Come on. I mean, your human capacity is like literally there's people every single year for the last 12,000 years, whatever they tell us on how long humans have been listed. Literally, there's someone every single year that is expanding further than what we know that humans can do. Right? So why diminish human capacity to anything? Like Elon's doing it right now, the richest man in the world. He's doing so many crazy things. It's bonkers,
Exactly.
and he's a child on social media too, which is
Yes.
hilarious. But like literally, I mean, it's great because he's literally showing another side of what we're capable of doing.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how much you want to criticize him for whatever, being rich, blah blah blah, all this other type of
There's
stuff.
always going to be people criticizing.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the end of the day, like why minimize like the I can't and all this type of stuff, the obstacles, right? If you want to adopt all the dogs, you start recalibrating your life. Like this is gonna be this is my life's work. This is what I'm gonna do. This is the problem. This is a problem in the world. Let me fix it. Let me be the person that changes it completely forever. But no,
Exactly.
what happens that they get sucked in, that gets vacuumed out of them, and then everyone around them is like, you gotta live easy. You gotta have balance. Let's
Exactly.
go out on the weekend and drink. Let's eat our dumbass Doritos and binge watch You on Netflix because the
Mm-hmm.
season 3 just hit.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. That's how it is. I mean, the whole feeling a problem, solving a problem thing. There's a lot of documentaries and stuff on different like billionaires, millionaires, and all of that. The one that sticks out to me is the have you seen the McDonald's one?
About Roy or you mean founder?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect
that's an
example.
absolutely great. Yeah, that's a great story.
Yeah.
What's his name? Ray, is it Ray Kroc? Yeah, Ray
Yes.
Kroc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, McDonald's is a real estate business.
Yeah.
And like you don't even think about that. And yeah, it's genius. He literally was putting himself out of business and boom, created a company or creating a different model
Mm-hmm.
and
Explode.
stole McDonald's.
Exactly.
Yeah, like all that. Yeah. And now we have nothing but disease because of it.
That's a
So
deeper issue.
congratulate. Yeah. I mean, but the cool thing, I mean, not a cool thing. In the 60s, we weren't that heavily into all those chemicals. So a McDonald's cheeseburger in the 60s,
Was a
was a
real
lot smaller.
cheeseburger.
Yeah, it was a real cheeseburger. Probably lightly sprinkled with a little hormones. I don't know synthetic we were that crazy, but it wasn't as much, right? And even like our grass was more nutrient dense and all that type of stuff. So the cows and all that type of stuff eating that shit it was just better.
Yeah.
But now we have a plethora. That's what blows me away on. So I try to be just like a logical standpoint with my data and how like I get data, right? And the way that I think about like with fasting and how we eat is, I'm a firm believer in evolution. You know, that's just how I roll, right?
Right.
And evolution takes years, right? Years to accomplish. And the thing is with evolution, if there's a problem that happens and the specimen, whatever the animal needs to evolve, it's going to the old specimen or animal is gonna die off. It's not gonna exist anymore, right?
The new one will adapt to the adversity.
Yeah, extinct. That's the word I was thinking about it. Yeah, right. The new one will adapt. The new one will be there, and the old one will extinct. Right. So think about this. When did we start mass producing food in widespread distribution?
Within the past 20, 30 years.
Well, we started canned foods in World War II, right?
Right.
When women went to work, like that was the huge thing. That's what they were doing. Widespread distribution of canned goods, maybe right after World War I, like right around that time period.
Yeah.
But that was just that, right? Processed food started, shortly after that, but that was pretty much about it. But think McDonald's, right? Fast food that started in the 60s.
Yep.
But they had what? 14 locations. The grocery stores, where were they? You probably had to drive like 20 minutes to get to one, if not longer. Same thing with restaurants. You probably lived in a town, there was one restaurant. That was it.
Right, exactly.
Uncle Joe's, yeah, or whatever. So food wasn't abundant until recently, like maybe 30 to 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So just think about this. Like, this is where I look at it. So we are told that we need to eat 6 to 8 times a day. All this other stuff, all this additive stuff, where 40 years ago, our bodies operated one way from the existence of mankind.
Exactly.
Like our bodies lived in a particular way for thousands of years until recently we decided, like some hotshot somewhere was like, we need to graze. We need to have 6 to 8
all
meals
day.
a day. Yeah, all day. We need, even digestion takes 40 hours. You gotta just keep on cramming food into you, and food is readily available, right? Your liver, like, just think about this again, like the idea that we have not evolved in the last 100 years. So our endocrine system, our digestive system, all of that has been the same 100 years ago, since our last evolution, right? So our liver is not understanding that we have all of this food readily available for us, like, all the time. And that's why we need to focus more on hormonal health in general, as a diet or a lifestyle, because again, it's a survival tactic. Insulin, it only works when you eat and when you consume something that converts to sugar quickly. Again, your body is designed to get rid of food and store it fast because it knows that sugar is deadly. It causes issues. And if you don't believe me, look at anyone with diabetes. Systems on their body like fails all the time. They don't work properly. Their eyes stop working because literally the body starts panicking. There's literally, your brain has a defense mechanism that prevents amyloid plaquing, which causes Alzheimer's. When you are insulin resistant, for whatever reason, the body produces another chemical that shuts off that chemical. So amyloid plaquing happens. That's why diabetes, that's why it's called diabetes type 3 now. But again, no matter what, like we haven't been eating this much all the time. We haven't been eating this type of chemicals, these hormones, these products for the last like 40 to 50 years. And evolution standpoint, our bodies don't understand that. They don't know that.
Exactly.
And like literally it's causing catastrophic issues. I mean, I'm a firm believer that if we were a healthier nation, COVID would have hit us in a completely different fashion than it did. But you know, again, I'm not no medical professional or anything like that. And I know infectious disease is different. But you know, I'm gonna believe that if you didn't have an extra 20, 30 pounds and you had a indestructible immune system,
you'd be fine.
I'm not fine. I mean, you at least, I mean, there would be less deaths, and you would be able to weather the storm a lot better. I mean, some people, you might just actually just feel like garbage. Like, I mean, it sucks. Like it's a shitty disease, right? Or whatever. But I mean, it wouldn't have been as catastrophic.
I mean, it definitely can't hurt having a body that's healthy.
Right. Exactly. Like that's the mindset too. Like, you know, I could die at any moment when I'm healthy. Yeah, but doing all this other stuff is going to drastically increase, like no matter what.
It speeds that up a little bit.
Yeah, it's like smoking cigarettes. I mean, there's zero reason for you to do that. And you smoke cigarettes and like, yeah, like I could smoke like, oh, my Uncle Tom smoked cigarettes his whole entire life, never had cancer. And someone else so it can happen, like you can die anytime. But like, what's the point? This would be not only that you might be getting cancer or all this other bullshit, you're giving it to everyone else. Like that's the problem. So I don't know. It's nuts.
Before we end the podcast, I want to ask you one more thing.
Yeah.
Out of the entire episode, anyone listening, what is the one thing that you want people to take from this episode and what you've been saying and what we've been talking about?
The one thing that I would say is that you gotta wake up. The thing is, I want to use words like woke. You gotta get woke. I'm not a kid or anything like that. I definitely don't know lingo, but the one thing that's really just been completely eye-opening is the holes of data. And again, what I said, what spoke to me a lot listening to the 10X rule is when Grant said, if you're listening to anyone that has accomplished anything that you want to accomplish in life, you shouldn't be listening to them, right? And that goes such a huge array of different things. You start questioning stuff, right? And don't do it in an asshole way. Don't even do it out loud. And don't go on, Reddit and just Google and be like, oh, and just be a fact checker and that advice giver or whatever. But read books. I don't know if you ever do you know the book Fahrenheit 451?
Yeah.
And it's banned from school. And that book is about literally books are illegal.
Yeah.
Did you read the book or do you know what it's about? Oh, okay. I read it in school before it was banned. So I mean that book is literally about, it was written in the 50s. It's about a futuristic time period, i.e. now, that books are illegal. So there's burn squads that 451 degrees Fahrenheit is at the rate of what books burn at. So there's burn squads that literally burn all these books, and it's illegal. Like it's illegal to burn books. And it's crazy on how that much is. Like, I hate listening to books. I hate reading books. I can't stay focused. But that's the one thing that's absolutely been a game changer for me. And you got to understand where your data is coming from. Yeah. Again, don't listen to me. Like, who am I? Fact check me. The things I said. I mean, go right ahead, because I've done my research And the things that I'm doing, I'm listening to me and the information I'm getting, and it's been drastically helpful, and it's been working. So, but regardless, I mean, don't listen to me. Like, read, get real data, get real information, and put it to use. And the biggest thing too, the hardest thing that you're gonna have to ever do in this entire world, the hardest thing, I'm gonna lose everyone, is that you gotta get rid of all toxic shit in your life. And that includes people, your closest friends, relatives. I'm not saying be an asshole and a dick to them. Like, I'm not gonna go to holidays, I'm not gonna do birthdays, whatever. I mean, maybe sometimes you skip them, right? Because you're working on you, right? And that's coming a little bit more senior than other stuff, especially if you go into a house or a family get together and you're going to hear a bunch of this terrible information, a ton of this advice, a ton of this retracting on human capacity, right?
Yep.
You want to do something, you want to adopt all those dogs, and you walk into a home and family get together, and everyone's telling you, it's not worth it. It's stupid. It's too much. Whatever. Just focus on you. Whatever. Like, you got to get rid of all of that. Any toxic shit. You got to get the right information. You got to find out whatever you want in life. Find the person, study them. That's what I did. I studied Grant thoroughly, what he's doing, what he says, how he acts. Excuse me. Do that. Whatever you want in life, find someone and study real information. And then there's going to be a cascading effect with other areas in your life. I'm starting a company where I'm going to try to coach people on just overall, health, fitness, mindset, all of that. You need a sales rally guy. I'm your person. I can get everyone up, but you need to find someone or something that you're interested in, and you got to get the right data. And then again, things are just gonna start naturally happening. Like with me, I was like, I want to do so much things in life. I need more energy. So I have to work out. I have to be healthy to get me more energy. I'm not gonna do cocaine or inject caffeine into my veins constantly. Like, I'm not gonna do any of that.
Right.
I'm gonna get natural energy and all that type of stuff. And when you do that, that's not gonna mean shit if you're still hanging around with people, still listening. If you're scrolling through social media and it's bullshit, you gotta delete it. Doesn't matter. You have 1,000 people that you're following, and it's a bunch of people that are not significantly impacting your life. It doesn't matter then. Delete them all. Add affirmations. How silly that sounds. Add positive things that are just going to continuously perpetuate you working on you. You putting you first, right? You being the minority and changing things. You being someone that you are looking to accomplish, like something is you want to accomplish in life, right? You're focused on that. You're working on that. And you got to have a list of ethics, right? Or you got to have a list of things that if anyone tries to impede on that, it's treason to you. It's like you put them in jail, which is you don't talk to them, or at least for a while. Like, and that goes with people, that goes with energy. I'm not telling people to mass quit their jobs or anything like that, but I mean, toxic energy it's just bad. Like, it can have a massive effect on your earning potential, your mood, all that type of stuff. You're with a spouse, toxic energy, the house you're in, the state you're in, the city you're in, whatever it may be. You got to evaluate. I'm going to be doing something shortly because it's New Year's, right? Take inventory of your life, right? Your life. This is a concept that I learned early on, and it's extremely impactful. And you got to be brutally honest with yourself. But your life is a business. So, what did you do this year? Where do you want to go? what's your goals? Like, what skills do I have? What skills do I need? Who do I need to talk to? Where do I need to go? Where do I want to go? All this type of stuff, right?
Absolutely.
So you do that. You gotta know you take inventory. That's how you find out where you want to go. Then you find the people that have done it themselves, done very well. Then you get real data. Don't listen to the bullshit. And regardless, you have to fight yourself constantly on a daily basis, no matter what. And it makes it worse when other people are convincing you the bullshit that you're telling yourself. Because every single day you're going to be like, yeah, this isn't worth it. I'm tired. This is a lot easier if I was just doing this other stuff. And other people are going to be like, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right. It's dumb. Stop doing it. Come and hang out with me instead. Stop doing that stupid thing. I need you to hang out with me because I'm being selfish right now. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And you need to be
everyone's looking
selfish.
out for themselves at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a drawn out one thing, but it's kind of one thing.
It was beautiful. All right. I want to thank Joey. I want to thank you, Joe, for coming on to the podcast today and kicking things off for the new podcast. All of his links to anything he's doing, social media, websites, all of that is going to be in the link down or in the description down below. I want you guys to like, comment, and subscribe this video. Share it to anybody you know that's trying to overcome adversity, anyone you know that's trying to start their life on the right foot. And tune in next time for some more information from In Progress.